The way I would describe it, Tubi has pioneered the model for free ad-supported streaming with a data-driven approach. And AI is increasingly playing a crucial role in content personalization, as we know. Could you share how AI is transforming the way Tubi curates content for its users and how it's reshaping, your content strategy?
Yeah, so people ask me a lot about why Tubi is resonating so much right now, because it is. We've gotten to nearly 100 million MAUs. It's partly because it's free, yes. But the other reason that Tubi is resonating
with a holy grail demographic, I might add.
Absolutely. But the reason is because we're breaking the monoculture. And AI is going to break the monoculture. And you heard it, I think, a little bit from Jeffrey. I spent a decade at Vimeo before coming to Tubi trying to lower the barriers for quality storytelling, trying to help more creators be able to produce high quality content. Obviously, AI is helping dramatically change that. And what that means is you're going to see many more stories and many more storytellers who are going to be creating content that is going to be available for audiences. There's a really good part of that, more diversity in storytelling, being able to be less monolithic in programming and represent more voices. The challenge is there's going to be a whole lot of content, and we already live in a paradox of choice where it takes us 10 minutes on average to find what to watch, and half the time we just go and start scrolling on TikTok. So I think what we're seeing at Tubi is that we see the opportunity of AI to make content discovery so much better. And really
easier, better?
Easier and better, but I would say in a very fundamental way. Make it less about facts and more about feelings. Storytelling is an inherently emotional medium. It's about what content makes you feel. And yet, think about how we search and discover content. Movie, TV series, comedy, drama. Because you watched X, you will like Y. These are extremely rudimentary and rigid forms of search and discovery, and AI can break that. And you're gonna see, I think, Tubi do a lot to try and embrace that, because that's what's already resonating organically with our audience.
And to that end, Anjali, how is Tubi competing with and kind of unlocking the reach of social platforms to entertain the audience? I mean, at the end of the day, that's what the job is.
I mean, we are a fan of the fans. Our whole premise is that we don't decide what's quality storytelling. We let our fans tell us, and that means we have to listen to them, and we have to obsessively listen to them. So our team spends a lot of time on not just Instagram and TikTok, but Reddit, Discord, trying to figure out what is actually happening in culture and move way faster in how we produce content. I'll give you an example. We just did an original. It's based on a Wattpad novel that had 30 million followers and a TikTok influencer who's doing his first movie. And it was the #1 title on Tubi ever in terms of viewers, all the things. We were organically in the Apple App Store as the top entertainment app above TikTok, all those things. Why? Because we had tens of thousands of fans clipping their own scenes from the movie, making their own UGC posts, putting it on social media. It's going viral. We're getting hundreds and millions of impressions. That's how we drove the marketing engine.
And that gets to what I think Jeffrey and May said earlier, democratization in terms of we all looked at the internet in the early days as the democratization. There was no longer that person who could greenlight that show in Hollywood that could flip the switch. Yeah, anybody could flip their own switch.
It's democratization of storytelling. It's democratization of marketing. It's the time to be the fan, and I think it's really exciting. Lots to figure out, but it's not about the technology is there. It is, I think, as Shelly said, it's how we use it, and I will say I'm so excited about culturally what this is going to do.
And Anjali, I've always thought of this concept of looking at the entertainment industry and thinking of it in the theatrical sense, not necessarily for television, but same difference. On the continuum from the green light that I just talked about to the red carpet, that process is a long process. But what we're hearing here and what we've heard this morning and what I know we'll hear as we continue, that process is going to be entirely different.
I think it's going to be different, and I think the definition of the red carpet is going to be different, right? Again, what is quality? What is it? Is it critical acclaim? Is it awards? Or is it fan engagement? Engagement is your time. It is your scarcest resource. We see ourselves, that is our job, is to earn that engagement. That's all we should think about, and that's all that should matter.
And again, because of the nature of your audience, the Gen Z, Alpha versus older generations, are the trends that you're seeing, because you can really see them, because again, I said it earlier, that holy grail is yours. What light could you shine on those trends in terms of the differences?
Yes, there are differences. I think there's definitely, we see a lot more viewing on mobile. We see more of a desire for authenticity in storytelling versus things feeling overproduced. But there's also a lot of similarities. Like, good storytelling is good storytelling. You know, one of the things that we see a lot in streaming now is called nostalgia viewing, right? People are going back and watching shows from a long time ago. But you have to remember, for younger audiences, that's not old. It's nostalgia, as we like to say at Tubi, because it's actually just like content that they're like, oh, this is great. It's good. I want to watch it. And someone I know or trust wants to watch it, and therefore I'm going to. So I think it's true there are some differences, but I would say there are more similarities, which is a good thing, again, for storytellers and creators in terms of you can reach an audience. And actually, I think you'll see platforms and streamers like Tubi. Our job isn't, you know, we say our job is to help every story find its audience. And I think that's kind of the opportunity.
Well, and I would say the remarkable success that you've had with Tubi, I think, was rooted in the ability to engage the users.
I mean, yeah, and I'm not the founder of Tubi. Farhad started the company over 10 years ago, but from the beginning, the mission was we want to give all people access to all the world's stories. That's why we are 100% free even today. That's why we have built the world's largest collection of movies and TV series, and we will platform a lot of voices and stories that others won't. And I do think that it's taken over a decade of consistently delivering on that to get where we are, but it is absolutely resonating, I think, in this time.
And Anjali, when you look at the concept of partnerships in content creation, how are you approaching that, and what difference are you seeing as a result of technology and sort of innovative collaborations that you can do?
Yeah, we've tried to be quite experimental in the people we partner with. I think, again, for us, it's what do our fans want? What does the audience want? Let's give them more of it. If we can do that by licensing content that's already made at a studio or producing an original, of course we'll do that. If we have to find other ways to find that content and stories, we will. We will go and work with a homegrown filmmaker in Detroit who has a, 100K budget for a movie, but a story to tell, and we will put that on Tubi and it will get millions of views. We recently launched the first fan-fueled studio in streaming, where we will greenlight content based on fan engagement around stuff that people just aren't seeing. And what we hear from fans is they feel seen. They feel seen by the content on Tubi. And so you're going to see us, like, my perspective is nothing is sacred here. We will do whatever, we will partner and do whatever we need to do to bring stories out that our fans want.
It's so interesting because when you say fan-driven, it reminds me of two things. One's really old, and that is a true story. When they were making the movie Gone with the Wind, okay, we're talking about a long time ago, nearly 100 years ago, the public decided who should play Rhett Butler. It was Clark Gable, it had to be. When years ago they launched the Hollywood Stock Exchange, some of you might remember the Hollywood Stock Exchange, where it was basically rotisserie investing. I looked at it and I said, that's the best research tool you could ever have. The fans who are going to take their real time, talk about people's attention, take real time and play fake investing, that's who you should be asking casting ideas. Who should play this role? The people who actually be the butts in the seats in the old days on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday when a movie opened.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is, historically, think about the timeline from green light to, it's from this minute you have an idea to actually getting it and to be out there for audiences has been so long. It's hard to have a fast feedback loop. It's hard to move at the speed of culture, and culture's moving at the speed of TikTok. But now this is why I think AI and technology is going to help us shorten that time. And I believe in long-form storytelling. I'm not talking about shorts. I'm saying long-form storytelling. I think we can move
I've been
faster.
accused of that my whole life, long-form story. Trust me. I feel your pain. So do most people who are in meetings with me. Go ahead.
No, but so I think that is the opportunity is like, and by the way, young people love movies and TV shows. It's not that their attention spans are so short that they will engage for hours and hours in stuff that they feel like
Thank God for
reflects their
Suits. We have
lives.
something to
Yes.
watch that's, Anjali, in the time we have left, certain industries are moving quicker, certain industries are moving slower, but are there specific areas, and obviously we've talked about content recommendations, ad targeting or user experiences, but ad targeting, obviously, we've talked about user experience and content, but ad targeting, obviously critically important, all the attribution questions everyone has. How are you seeing that play out?
So I was a former marketer, and yes, I'm super excited about better understanding viewers, being able to target them, getting smarter about attribution, all those things. But I think the bigger opportunity for brands, and I think this is sort of a similar thread to what's been said earlier, is now every brand can be a media company. Every brand can be a media company. And every brand can be a storyteller, and every brand can engage with their audiences. And I think what you're going to see is, yes, technology is going to let us do cool stuff. It's going to let us dynamically optimize creative, and probably put a little product placement for different users and different content. Like we can do that. All that stuff will happen. But as a brand, you want to connect. You want authenticity. And I think that what will be very interesting, and what I will bet, is that you're going to see brands, we're starting to see this more and more, have their own studios. Try and partner in much deeper ways with how content and stories are told, but do it from less of a transactional way and more from a, we want to be in the story. We want to get into what does our brand stand for, what do we want people to feel, and how do we surround ourselves with scenes and stories like that. It's almost like we're going to come back to a very brand first way of reaching audiences.
A brand first
through
way,
the power of AI.
Right, a brand first way, but with performance capability.
Absolutely. I bought this ring through an ad on Instagram, and
It's very pretty.
Oh, thanks. But and I buy a lot of stuff on Instagram because it knows me better. It just knows me better, and I don't see. We always say at Tubi, ads is not a bug. It's a feature. Ads are a part of the value exchange that allows you to be able to get the content that you get. So I think of it as like, how are we going to make ads more helpful and help me buy a great ring that I love, that makes me feel good. And so I think that's really going to be the opportunity here, and better attribution, targeting, all that's going to help us get there. We got a long way to go in CTV.
We have to end here, but I will end on quoting Frank Bennick, the I guess still chairman of the Hearst Corporation. He told a story once about his wife and son sitting in their living room looking at a long mirror and having a conversation, and they said, "We hate television advertising." He said, "Good. You know that long mirror over there? Go sit in front of it and watch yourself starve." So we need advertising.
Amen.
Anjali, thank you. Thank you.